The Enterprise has arrived at a communication relay station near the Klingon border. Morag has been getting more and more aggressive lately, and Aquiel misses Muskin Seed Punch. Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Seventh Rule with Sirach Lofton.
Hello.
My name is Ryan T. Husk, and today we are doing a review of Star Trek The Next Generation Season 6, Episode 13. You guessed it, Aquiel. Story by Legendary Group. Story by Jerry Taylor. Teleplay by Brandon Braga and Ronald D. Moore. Directed by the guy they named Bolians after, Cliff Bole. This was January 30th, 1993. Where were you and how are you, Sirach?
You said January 30th?
Yeah, 1993.
I think we were like DS9 was just hitting the air, I think, right around there.
Yeah. It was you guys were just dropping your 4th episode, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were just hitting the wave. So yeah, that's where I was. I was watching the response to the work that we kind of put in.
That's cool.
At that point.
Everybody, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for notifications. If you're listening in, give us a 5-star rating and a nice review. We'd really appreciate that. And visit us at patreon.com/the7th-rule. That's patreon.com/the7th-rule to support the show and help us out. Be our pals. All right. So, Sirach Lofton, you've never seen this episode before, but I'll tell you, it's kind of legendary in a lot of ways. But before we get into all that stuff, Sirach, what did you think of this particular episode?
You know what? I actually was happy that Geordi was getting an episode. So that was one of the first things that I was happy about. It was a Geordi episode.
Mm-hmm.
It was also a murder. I knew right away we're going to get a murder mystery kind of whodunit type of, episode where we have clues and we're trying to figure out things. So that's another kind of template of Star Trek episodes. These murder mystery kinds of episodes. So which I'm a fan of. I enjoy because I like a good mystery, a good whodunit. So that was the initial feeling. Plus we had a dog, and I was like, oh, that's cool. We got a dog in the show, So they opened with the pooch, and I also kind of have a warm spot in my heart for those. So that just kind of softened everything up and made me feel like, okay, I'm ready for whatever this journey is going to be. I'm ready for this.
Cute dog too. I actually thought of you a lot in this episode, Sirach Lofton, because I have a poster of you on my ceiling. I just kind of gaze.
Right.
No, but because I know what you were thinking, like when it first started out, you're thinking like, oh no, is Geordi going to fall in love with another fake person again? Because like this poor Geordi can't catch a break. Because it's like it's all well documented what his situation is. We're now into the 6th season. Maybe things are changing. And here he is snooping around somebody's personal logs again and falling in love and calling her by her first name. And Riker's like, why are you calling this person by her? Well, she's quirky and cute and she makes the best hot cocos or whatever. We're like, oh, Geordi, man, come on.
Yeah, Geordi, find a real girl. Because, the last time he was in love with that scientist whose program he kept running.
Leah Brahms, yeah.
Leah Brahms. And then he got exposed for that because she found the programs and she didn't like that, right? So, he looked like such a creep going through her, kind of putting her up in this personal program profile. So, he already has that history, right? And we've already seen that before where it didn't end well. Plus, we've seen him on that date in the holodeck one time. I think he was on a beach program.
Yeah, with the Coco No-Nos.
Yeah, and that didn't work out well for him either. Which, by the way,
violinist was like stealing his woman, his programmed lady.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it was so bad that even Wesley was like clowning him. So like this is
That's right. I forgot about that. He's like, at least my
it,
idea of a good time isn't a good book or
it was something like that. It was even Wesley was clowning. That's how bad it was
That's
for him.
messed
So
up, man.
we've talked about like O'Brien Must Suffer episodes, but in the category of love and relationships, it's Geordie Must Suffer,
Yeah.
right?
Now, the other side of that, though, is because while you were saying that, I was thinking, well, what about Barkley? Barkley's so bad, he creates like fantasy programs just to have people like him and women caress his hair. But I was like, but you know what? At least Barkley, at least Barkley knows what he's doing. He's like, yeah, I can't get any ladies, so I'm just gonna, and my friends don't like me, and my coworkers, whatever. So I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go on this fantasy thing and accept it and whatever. Whereas Jordy, he's still trying. He's still giving it a shot.
Yeah, and it's just like it, it 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 was a little bit sad to watch in the beginning, like when he was just watching the replays and whatnot, and he's talking to the screen in some
Mm-hmm.
way. You know, when you start watching a movie or something and you're talking to the screen,
For me, it's
it looked like
sports. I
yeah,
talk to
yeah,
the, yeah.
in
I'm the
sports, you talk
assistant
to
coach. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And he was talking to the screen. I'm like, oh god, he's already
He's already gone.
he's already gone. So yeah, that was like, and then it also made me think. Just this is a random tangent, but it's still relevant, and that is the extent to which personal logs are personal.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
it made me think like, oh, how personal of a personal log would some people create under certain if you think that this is not going to be seen by anybody, for example. I don't know if all your communications are subject to scrutiny, like if you work for the government and you got accused of espionage or something like that. They can go through
Mm-hmm.
all of your
Well, look,
emails and all of your phones, right?
even now, if somebody gets killed, they're going to look through their phone.
Right.
If
They're going to look. Right.
if you're a suspect in something, they do what is it called, discovery. They look through your phone records. They do like so. We're there. Like
Right. We're already there with the
Star Trek
personal
was
logs,
not far off there. Yeah.
But then, just like you just mentioned, so you're under investigation, and they're going through your personal pictures and phones, right? There's a lot of people with phone stuff in their phones, the personal stuff like photos and things of that nature, videos, where they may not want anybody to see, right? That's like literally their personal stuff.
Right.
And
Also,
what I'm
because
yeah
if you are looking through somebody's personal log, even if they're deceased, you might be invading someone else's privacy. Like, what if somebody else was messaging them some personal, private things that they could only tell them? And now you're reading about them and they're like, hey, leave me out of this. So there's definitely something there where it's like, it's not just the person whose logs it belongs to, whose logs it is that you're invading their privacy. It's everybody they've ever messaged or has messaged them.
which is why you can see that the angst on Lieutenant what was her name, Aquiel,
Unari, yeah.
yeah, when she was just dealing with the whole realization that he just went through all of her personal logs. You saw that moment. There was like a good 10 seconds of pause and reflection, and like, oh wow, this is. And I think she actually said the words, I feel exposed, and so I'm thinking, what other personal things were also, not in the episode, but would be included in this kinds of forensic analysis of your data, right?
Mm-hmm. What if he's watching this and it's her sister going, hey, so that rash on my butt, I tried putting that, or maybe
like
she's
all
telling,
kind of crazy stuff.
yeah. And Jordy's just sitting there with popcorn. He's making himself comfortable on her bed, petting her dog, wearing her slippers, watching her stuff, rewinding. I'm like, dude, obviously we're making a joke, we're making light of it. He was doing what he had to do, but it is an interesting situation. It is something where you go like, this is kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is uncomfortable. And the funny thing is, they had a line there with Riker and Geordi. Geordi's Riker's like, well, how much do you got to go through? And he's like, I still got 3 days. There's 3 more days worth of stuff, right? And you could tell he's looking forward to it, like binge watching a Netflix show.
He's like, I'm on season 4. I got 3 more seasons to go, dude. It's really getting good, man. Don't take me away from this, please.
Please don't take me away from this. And then it made me think, Geordi would be the last person assigned to this kind of thing. It would be Data you would assign to this.
Oh, you're so right. Because he could just put on like times 100 speed and just and say, Captain, I've got it all. I understand.
Yeah. And not be emotionally attached to it, right? So he would be like, oh, I know everything. I know about this. I know about this. There was a Klingon named this. And he would be the person to actually go through it at supersonic. 3 more days. We're gonna watch Geordi sit there with his popcorn. Like, can you imagine? He gets Riker or the captain walk in on him while he's watching it, and he kind of jumps up like, "Oh!" He's like, "You caught me doing something." I mean, it's like, Geordi, chill.
Yeah, but that's a good point about Data too. Is that he wouldn't get emotionally invested, and also it would feel a lot less like invasion of privacy if you have an AI just going through looking for keywords basically, or deciphering things, because it's not like an actual person or somebody with emotions that, that's a really good point. And I hadn't thought of that, but that would pretty much end the episode in like 3 minutes. So
it would end the episode.
That'd be pretty interesting. Like, we've assigned Commander Data to this, and then commercial break, he comes back, he says, sir, I suspect I know who the real killer is. Dog.
Exactly. It would be a very short episode, but in the interest of, I thought for Geordi's sake, just filling out his character, giving him some actual. This is so this is what I noticed about this. This is actual romance with chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So every time we've seen him, he's had zero chemistry with the other person, who's always either combative with him or not receptive to him. They just not feeling him, and it's like trying to approach somebody who's completely not into you or doesn't want to be talked to. It's like
no
you're
idea
pushing
what that's
yourself.
like.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds uncomfortable.
But it's like, if there's no reception there, if there's no reciprocation, then you're making yourself look like an idiot, right? You're just digging yourself a deeper hole if you're walking up to somebody who doesn't want to be approached, and you try to continuously force yourself on them. Then you're going to look really abrasive and aggressive, and it becomes less and less attractive. You just continuously become less attractive, which is what Geordi has. We've seen him in that situation, where he's
poor guy.
Always he's in a situation where he likes somebody, they're not really feeling him, and he's trying to force it even more. And the more
trying to dig yourself out of the hole, but you're digging in deeper. Yeah. But
but in this case,
yes,
it was
the
actually
good news.
the good news is this was actually the smoothest LaForge I've seen.
He was even suggestive a couple. They were very suggestive with each other a couple times there.
And what I liked about it was, he was genuine in his trying to understand and defend her. I thought that came across in his performance, and I also felt like he wasn't overtly, fawning over her. I think that's also kind of an unattractive thing, when people just become too much of a fawn or too attached. And so he was actually very casual, having conversations, being honest about going through her files and saying I had to do it. It's my, what I'm asked to do, and just having really genuine conversation with her, trying to get to know her perspective and her side. And I thought this was a very natural, believable progression in relationship for them.
Yeah, and also this was also give credit to her as well, because it's not just that sure, there was chemistry, which thank God Geordi had that, but also she was willing to kind of look past the awkwardness. A lot of times if something awkward happens with us upon first meeting somebody, it just, you can't really recover from that. You're just like, I just don't feel comfortable around that person. But she took a moment. She was like, you know what? It's the first mostly normal guy I've spoken to in a long time. Let's talk it out a bit more. And he turned her around real quick, or she turned around real quick on him. Suddenly, that's always the toughest thing, is convincing us that the two people basically fall for each other in 43 minutes, because this was even faster. This was like 6 minutes. She went from like, I don't know you, to like touching his face and stuff. I was like, whoa, Helene, don't mess around. Like she was like, all right, this guy's cool. This guy's nice.
Well, the thing that was believable about this situation for me was this. Clearly, she had been in a traumatic situation,
totally,
that traumatized her mentally, because she admitted to having blocks of memory missing. Right, she didn't know certain things, so that's a extensively traumatic situation causes that, where you have this amnesia or this blockage of memory. So that was one factor. The other factor was her being accused of this murder. And so now she's a suspect and people are suspicious of her. And she feels like, everyone is against her.
She needs a friend.
She needs a friend,
mm-hmm.
right? An advocate, a friend, somebody that she believes her. And I think that's where I believe the switch in the tone that was believable for me was when she said to him, do you believe me? And I thought he gave an honest, yes, I do believe you answer. And that's when she realized she had somebody who she can trust, or have somebody she can confide in, and have this kind of, because she was very forthcoming on everything she felt like either she knew or didn't know.
That's a very good point. That's a lot of times, in a lot of ways, the number one most important thing is, do you believe me? Whether it's a traumatic experience, whether it's you need to be defended about something, whatever it is, the number one thing is, do you believe me? And man, does that ever change a situation if somebody believes you or doesn't believe you. So that's I think that's a really good point. And of course, Geordi did believe her. And thank God he ended up being right. Wouldn't you, like, if it ended up it looked for a while like it was going to be her that did it, and we started thinking, man, Geordi. Geordi. But thank God he was validated this time,
Yes. Yeah, thank God he was, because he started to like turn on Riker.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like he was
like, getting in between them.
Yes.
You have to get through me, bro.
Yeah, he became Johnny Cochran all of a sudden. He's like, I'm defending my client. This is my case. And so Riker's like, yo, I think you're being a little bit too emotional, Jordan. I think, maybe you want to stop seeing her on a personal level. This is, just as a friend, I'm telling you, because you're getting emotionally attached. And then what was Geordi's response to that? He says, I'm not the one making judgments, or something to that effect.
Yeah, that was actually good, but that was also like the most childish we've seen Geordi react since him fighting with Wesley Crusher. But we felt it, because he's like, he said, she may be impairing your judgment, or Riker said something about it. He's like, well, I'm not the one passing judgments. It seemed kind of a little child, but I'm like, but I was there with them. Like I felt, I'm like, yes, you let him know he said, drop the ranks. So you're allowed to say whatever you got to say. It doesn't have to be professional. It doesn't have to be perfect. And he threw it in his face, and Riker ate it, and maybe had something to think about, because he was right.
Well, and also, to Geordi's credit, just before he made that line to him about the judgment, right? I'm not the one who's making judgments. He tells Riker's like, hey man, I think you're like trying to like, you're taking her side or something. And he says, if she's innocent, I want to help her prove it.
Yep.
That was it. And he said it very calmly. It wasn't even like, I thought the tone was perfect in the delivery, as far as the way he delivered that line. It was really heartfelt. It was a perfect tone. It actually, to me, sounded like he was talking to a friend. It was like, it wasn't a rank thing. I felt the friend vibe there. So yeah, I did like the way he delivered that. But essentially, he's saying, if she's innocent, I want to help her prove it. And there are several moments in which Geordi confronted her about truth telling, right? And I felt like she gave truthful answers, because when he, tried to probe even farther, she just kept being more truthful. You can kind of tell when somebody's lying. And the example of that is when he caught her.
Oh, shit, you can?
Yeah, we could tell, right?
Every time?
Not every time.
Oh.
But yeah, when he caught her deleting the logs, when he
bad.
caught her deleting logs, it looked real bad. I was like, oh god, she's definitely playing him and covering her tracks at the same time. And but then when he confronts her, she's like, yeah, I did delete. Like, she didn't run away from it. She said, yeah, I did do it. And by the way, that was the great way they did this. They used obfuscation. So we kept, everybody admitted to the thing that they did. The Klingon that they brought on and said, hey, when Data questioned him and said, did you delete the file? Did you take the files, the codes, the messages? He's like, yes, I did take the messages, but nobody was there. Okay, so he admits to that.
Eventually.
Eventually,
but that's also what the guilty people do. The ones that end up they go like, "Were you there?" No, or they go, "Were you there?" No, I don't have to answer to you. Were you there? No. Okay, we know you were there. Okay, fine, I was there, but I didn't do anything. Well, we know you were there, and you deleted the log. Okay, I was there, I deleted the log, but I didn't kill anybody. But at least they were willing to say, and that just makes us again flip-flop on who we think it really is. So that's really good, because we think, okay, it's probably her. And then the Klingon says a couple of things, and we go, oh, well, maybe it was the Klingon. He admits to what he did. He's like, I was just checking up on them or something. Come on, bro. Nobody believes that. No, you weren't concerned. But you know what?
Yeah, I did. I thought that was great writing for keeping us guessing, because I was guessing. Like, I was more leaning towards this girl, because I was like, Geordi, you're getting played. It's just
because the Klingon felt like it was too obvious of an answer.
Now that Geordi's poor choices is the reason why I thought it was going to end badly for him. I was like, this guy, he makes the wrong choice all the time,
He's
especially when it comes to women. Yeah.
So also on that note, we got to jump to our break here, but there was somebody else that was suspiciously absent that could have made this a 3-minute episode too. But we'll get to that in just a second. We'll be right back on The Seventh Rule.